right, guys, now I'm joined by the Olympic coach for USA Greco-Roman, Coach Herb House. Herb, what's going on, pal?
Not much. Busy weekend. Just finished the trials, and now we're stepping into the preparation stage right now with me and the national team. I'm helping the national team, and we're just coordinating on what our schedule will be. But we had a very long weekend, so now we're just going to the next step of planning.
So let me speak for myself. I am very excited, and coach, I'm also depressed. I get the blues after the trials. I mean, I literally
Right.
wait 4 years to see this stuff, and in this case, I waited 5. I mean, I love it. The trials is the ultimate conversation if you're a wrestling fan. Anybody that you've ever sat around and argued, well, who would win if this guy took on this guy? You're going to see it. Oh, by the way, you're going to see him again 20 minutes later. I mean, it is the ultimate American competition for me. And when it's over, coach, it hurts me a little bit. I got to tell you.
Yeah, it hurts everybody, unfortunately. But as you know, the Olympic trials is what it is. People come there prepared. Some people don't come there prepared. But we've seen a lot of upsets. I mean, some of the people that you thought will make the team didn't make the team. But as far as the team that we have now, I mean, we have a very good, aggressive team. You know, you have Eldar, he's a veteran. Sancho's, he's up and coming. He has a great heart, willing to learn. And then we have Porter, who still has to qualify the weight class. So, and then John Stefanovich, one of the most hardest working people out there, is going to give 120%. And then Tracy Hancock, we all know he's been around for a while. And then after that, we have Kuhn, who has to qualify the weight class too. But we have a plan. So I think me and Matt are sitting down. Actually, we're talking about Kuhn today and 77 and figuring out what pre-training camps we can do with those guys before we leave to go to the last chance next month.
Okay, Porter and Kuhn, when they go to the last chance, they're in the same tournament, correct? They can at least go together. They can support
Yeah.
each other. Is that correct?
Yeah, so me, Matt, Porter, and Kuhn will all fly up there. Actually, Matt will be there early because we're going to send Tracy probably to Bulgaria to do a training camp. And so Matt will go there early with Tracy, and then I will fly up with the rest with the Kuhn and Porter for the actual tournament on May 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th.
And coach, when we go to that for Kuhn and Porter, is that the same event that Jordan Oliver will be at, by example? I'm trying to fix. So they'll do
Right.
freestyle and Greco together. Okay. And we'll
So
at
what's
least be
going to
able to
happen?
go as Americans and support one another, correct?
Yeah. Right. So what's going to happen? Freestyle will go first. And one of the crazy things about this tournament is that you can make it to the finals and lose, and you still have to wrestle back if you haven't wrestled the number 3 guy. So just because you made it to the finals, it doesn't guarantee you a spot on an Olympic spot for the Tokyo. You have to actually win it, or you have to take second and have beaten the number 3 guy.
Yeah. So true second. I think that's what they call it. They wrestle back for
That's
a
true
true second. All
second.
right.
Right.
Yeah, it's very tough. And remind me what happened with Kuhn. Kuhn was supposed to qualify. I want to say like Kuhn tripped and went to his back. I mean, something happened where he was at like the Pan Ams and supposed to make like some right. Didn't he slip on a banana peel? I remember this correctly.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, Kuhn just had a really tough draw, unfortunately. He went against the Chile. The Chile is a very, very tough person. He's an ex-Cuban who went over to left Chile. I went to Cuba, left Cuba and went to Chile. So he's a very experienced wrestler. I think he's placed before in the Worlds. So he just had a bad draw. I feel. I don't like to make excuses for guys. I just feel like that. Hey, he wrestled a tough guy. He tried to go out and do his best, and we didn't get the results that we were looking for.
All right, and Joe Rao retired. What a run, man. What a
Yeah,
run in both
yeah,
styles. Joe Rao's popped into freestyle tournaments and cleaned house. I mean, this guy can really, he knows the sport. He was passionate. He loved it.
right,
I was sad to see him go. I don't disagree that perhaps it was the appropriate time, but it was hard for
right.
me. I must tell you, it was hard for me to see.
Yeah, I think Joe Rao. I mean, he's an Illinois kid like me, so I mean, it's hard to see him go. But I mean, he's been around. This is his second Olympic trials. In 2016, he did win the trials, but he didn't qualify the weight class. And this time, he qualified the weight class, but he didn't win the trials. So I mean, my heart goes out to the guy because he's the guy that goes and does all the extra stuff when nobody's looking, and travels over the seas to go get the necessary training he needs. So yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to him, but I think we're going to see a lot more of Joe and coaching wise, and hopefully a lot of these athletes that's retiring now is going to go to that next level of coaching and helping out with the Greco program on the
All right.
U.S. side.
And speaking of that weight class, John, who beat him? First off, can you help me to say his last name correctly? He deserves this
John
respect, but it's a
Stefanovic.
tough one. What is it?
John Stefanovic.
John Stefanich. I'm gonna tattoo that on my arm if I have to. But this guy is dog tough, coach. I mean, you want to talk about who's tough? That
Right,
guy is a competitor, and he stepped up in the highest
right.
ways. Give me a little backstory on him. I don't know a lot
Oh,
about him. I
wow.
believe he's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's a Pennsylvania kid. I think it's Chase Monsters is the stepbrother or something like that. Monsieur is a stepbrother, and he's in the Marines. I mean, dedicated soldier. I mean, just dedicated. He's on a lot of our committees for USA Wrestling. Nicest guy out there. But one thing I tell you about, like you said, he's an animal. He just won't quit. He keeps going. He finds a way, and he believes in himself. Right when other people don't think he'll win, he finds a way to believe in himself to make sure that he knows that he can do anything and accomplish anything he put his mind to. So he has a heart of steel. John does.
What was the general vibe at the trials? I watched it from my living room, but I was with them all
Mhm.
weekend. I felt like I was there. But I'm talking about Jaden Cox. What was the general vibe with that going around? Is he going to get in? Is he not going to get in? What was the feel? Did you see Jaden? Did he report to the arena, at least watch the competition?
Yeah, Jaden was around. He was basically, he was upset, and I think he had a good reason to be upset. He worked 4 years for this. I mean, this was a great opportunity for him to go get his Olympic gold medal. But I mean, he just said he'd keep it up in spirits. He's going to continue to work hard. But yeah, it was a depressing day. I think the whole arena was pretty sad, and a lot of the staff were sad, and the athletes, even the athletes and fans were sad.
Sure.
So it wasn't our best day to have one of our top guys not be able to have opportunity to try out for the Olympic team.
All right, but he showed his face. He held his head high.
He held his high.
Good
He
man.
held it up really high. He took responsibility, and he explained to. I think he was telling people that he explained to them what happened and what his reasonings. And it's just unfortunate. It's almost like the Rulon situation back in the day where he missed weight, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? There's rules and regulation that has to be followed regarding that. And I mean, it's one of the most saddest thing, and you wish that you can change it or do something different for them, but you can't, unfortunately, because it sets a bad precedent, right?
Sure.
If we allow one person to do this A, B, and C, then the whole sport will be having the same problem for years to come.
Of course. So there's also another story that comes out of this very clear. Some of the younger guys. I mean, it is very clear to anyone that watches wrestling that a guy like, by example, Colton Schultz is going to
Hmm.
go on and represent this country for a period of time. So when we
Right.
have some of these guys, coach, who had their dreams dashed, had their hearts torn out,
Right.
how do we as a community, which we're going to take our cues from you, so you tell me, how as a community do we keep them involved? How do we get them to camps? How do we get them to go through the process? How do we get them to at least learn and absorb as much of this experience, even if they don't get to enter the tournament? What do we do? What do we do now?
I mean, I think the reality is how we get this community back into engaged into Greco is as us as coaches, we have to engage in them, right? We have to come out and show them how fun it can be. People like Colton Schultz, he can do both styles, right? He was born in Greco, and he can also do folk style. And I think that's the biggest message we have to relay to a lot of the college guys, even high school guys. I think if it's mine, I would start targeting the high school. I mean, we should be almost like a recruiter. Colleges get the first glance at high schools. Why isn't we up here trying to recruit at high schools before they make the decision to go to colleges? I mean, it's just you're catching them a step ahead of time. And I think that's the key. We have to start pinpointing these individuals, sending out recruiters, talking to them in advance before they get to college. Because I think once they get to college, it's hard to pull those guys away from that college level because of their schedule, schoolwork, and so forth. Greco is a very long, intense process, right? We travel around the seas a lot. We travel and we're gone 1 to 2 weeks, and a lot of the colleges can't afford to miss that much school being overseas. So I think the biggest thing is we need to do that, and we need to get some kind of school that's going to sponsor us, where we can continue to put athletes in different locations. Like a lot of the RTCs are starting to help us out and take a lot of the Greco guys. We need more colleges to accept the Greco community and allow their guys to wrestle both styles. Because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, it helps me, and it helped a lot of other guys that I know in collegiate style and in high school. Because in high school, no one wanted to go over body with me, but if they shot on me, I can pull them up too. So I was almost dangerous in two ways. I can shoot and I can go over body. So I think it works in both everybody's advantage when they're doing both styles.
Sure. I fully agree with you. I mean, some of the more fun guys to watch, by example, do exactly what you're talking about. Even freestyle guys' success. I mean, I go back to the Randy Lewis days, who
Right,
didn't enter Greco, but boy, he was wrestling Greco. Whether he admits it, he was
right.
wrestling Greco, in those matches, scoring some big high points. So, okay, if I can ask you about Ben Provisor, by example, who honorably went and represented this country in the last
Mhm.
2 cycles. Ben did not, to my understanding, retire. He did not do what, say, Joe Rao did.
Mhm.
Ben has discussed making this team. I understand that's behind us, but then moving over to MMA. I'm just wondering
Right.
if you have an update. Does anybody else behind the scenes quietly step away?
I mean, last time I talked to Ben, yeah, that was his plan, was to go MMA. So I don't know what his plan is now, but last time I talked to him, even before the Olympic trials even started, his plan was to go MMA after the trials.
I gotcha. That's always what I had heard. But Herb,
Right.
you've seen this too. Some guys, the guy doesn't get what he wants and he sticks around a little bit. I mean, just by example, and I don't want to put pressure on those guys, but
Right.
I also don't want to miss if they
Right.
did step away. I'd like to pay them their due. I only saw Joe do it, so that's why I'm following up with you.
Yeah, I think Ellis put his shoes out too, Coleman. So he said he was retiring, and then I think Ryan Mango retired too.
Oh, he did? Mango
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, we kind of knew Mango was gonna retire.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very smart individual, a grad from Stanford, working on his master's right now. So he has other plans in his future he wants to try to accomplish.
Well, good for him. Good that whole family represented their family and their
Right.
community well. But I didn't know he was done. I was kind of hoping for a couple more. I mean, I must tell you. And what did you think of Burroughs Dake, man? Were you anticipating that match like the rest of us? Did you stop what you were doing to watch those guys?
Oh yeah, I think everybody stopped what they were doing to watch the match. I mean, you got some of the two best athletes in the world. I mean, you got the legend, Jordan Burroughs, and then you got Dake. That's just, I mean, he's been on Jordan's heels for the last 4 years, right? So, I mean, everybody, you can't win all the time, right? Eventually, that one person will come up and catch you.
Sure.
And this day it was Dake's turn, right? Um, Jordan had a great year. He represented our country for many, many years, and he's a great role model. That's the one thing I can tell you about Jordan. The conversations that I've had with him as a person and as a father, and he's probably one of the best role models for our generations and for our kids to come.
Tremendous compliment you just paid him. Young man out of Wisconsin, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Amos, am I saying his name?
Yep.
Amos
Amos
Braxton.
Braxton. Yep.
Okay.
Braxton.
Caught everybody by storm. And you remember the Jake Deichler days. You
Yep.
remember, but
Yep.
guys always come through. Every Garrett Lowney,
Yeah.
somebody comes out of nowhere. Usually makes the team. He didn't make the team,
Right.
but boy, he was the breakthrough. He was the guy that got everybody's attention. How good is this kid gonna be?
I mean, I can tell you one thing. He's not like a newcomer as what people may think he is. He's trained with us for about 2 years, off and on as a kid. So when COVID hit and I had my camps where I was traveling around the U.S. in certain places, he went to every one of those camps with me. So he put his due time in. He went to that camp. He went to the senior national camp. And this kid is very talented. I mean, beyond talented. He's like only 18 or 19 years old, and he's accomplished so much. I wish that we could find a way to make him more engaged in Greco, because his Greco skills can be so much developed if we are able to keep him involved and balance it out with his college life.
Gotcha. Well, it's going to be fun, Coach. I'm going to see you in Atlanta. I'm personally going to
Right.
come to that camp.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I think the biggest thing, I mean, for me, me and Matt's been working together ever since he took the job. I started volunteering once he took the job, and it was for a couple of reasons. I think that for me, and me as a person, is that wrestling has changed our lives, right? And I think that once it's done so much change for me, giving me a house, giving me a business to own, and being able to travel with these guys for the last 8 to 10 years has been a great opportunity. So that's why I give back to this community and to wrestling, because wrestling has helped me stay off the streets and helped me become a better person. So hopefully a lot of these other coaches, these new generation guys and the athletes are retiring, will do the same thing and give back to the organization and try to help these other kids that may be struggling or may want to be like them one day, fulfill their dreams too.
Tremendous. Tremendous. Guys, Coach Herb House getting ready to get our Olympians ready. The game's just around the corner. Coach House, thank you for your time, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.